What's up, football fans? What's going on? Max Browne here, back with another breakdown. In today's episode, we're looking at the USC versus Washington State game. And this breakdown is going to be a little bit different. It's not like one specific topic or one specific theme. We're just going to break down some of the top plays from a week ago. All 4 of Amon-Ra's touchdowns, and then 2 of the interceptions on the USC side. Going to look at it through the offensive lens, defensive lens, break it down on the whiteboard, X's and O's. Coming right at you. Check out the first of 4 touchdowns by Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's an easy slant route. Gets the Trojans on the board early. Let's check it out here.
Against Utah, lost one of them. As Slovis fires to the end zone, it's St. Brown for the touchdown. And just that quickly on the first series of the game, the Trojans are on the board.
All right, an easy pitch and catch right there. Just a nice, easy slant route to Amon-Ra St. Brown. The read on this is quite simple. If you get too high, 2 safeties, you're going to work the double slant side. Or if you get man, you can work the double slant side. If he gets a 1 high, if he gets some sort of cover 3, which is a little bit more unique, closer down closer to the red zone, then he can work this side. Kedon Slovis decides to go the double slant side. Love the choice, easy money. Defensively, we've talked about it a bunch in all the post-game podcasts and whatnot. This is a man look. This is clear as day, man look. The one kind of nuance here is both Wazoo linebackers are walked up tough, right over the center, right in the A-gaps. There are 6 guys in the box for only 5 USC blockers. Obviously, you're going to be outmanned if both those backers rush the A-gap. Then Kedon Slovis is going to be hot off one of the ends right here. So much of this is about leverage down in the red zone, right? Where is the nickel will? Is he on the outside? Is he on the inside? Does that mean I can get an out route, or does that mean I can get a slant route? And that's exactly what happens on this play. The leverage of these corners is so outside. That's why I highlighted it out here. Both these corners are outside leverage. And why are they doing that? They're protecting against the fade. They're saying we're not going to get beat outside. We've seen USC do that a bunch. They did to us a bunch in 2018. We're not going to get torched outside by fade balls. It's a little cat and mouse game. So then Graham Harrell says, all right, that's fine. We don't have to run fades. We'll use your leverage against you, run an inside slant, and this corner is really beat before the snap even happens. Kedon Slovis walks up to the line. He sees the leverage of the corner. He knows he's got his best player right there. All he has to do is make sure this nickel will doesn't run out, and this is easy money right there. Very clean picture, very easy read, nice throw and catch. You get Amon-Ra St. Brown his first touchdown. This was number 8's first touchdown of the game. Let's check out his second.
The offensive side of the ball. On third down, Slovis airs it out to the end zone. Caught for the touchdown by St. Brown. Weeks ago, here's the touchdown.
Yeah, and it's St. Brown versus Armani Marsh, and these are one-on-one matchups that Coach Rolovich was talking about.
All right, there's the second one. 2 for 2 so far, going up top, allowed number 8 to make a play. Big-time throw by Kedon Slovis. Great by the Trojans all around. From the offensive perspective, from Kedon Slovis' eyes, once again, it's a very easy read. To be honest with you, I can't tell what's happening on this side. Drake London and Tyler Vaughn's like crash into each other right here. I can't tell the scheme they're doing on this side, so I won't guess. On this side, it's very easy. It's an inside fade from the slot here, and then a hitch on the outside. Why do you run a hitch right here? To force this corner to commit, right? If you ran a curl or something like that, let's say this was deeper right here, then you would allow this corner to hang and maybe play both. You don't want that to happen. You run the hitch, you force this corner to stay down, and it's a one-on-one matchup right here. Defensively, from the Wazoo standpoint, it's a little goofy, little weird. Ballsy choice. To be honest, I don't like the call defensively. I think you're putting just way too much pressure on your secondary with this receiving core. This drawing isn't necessarily to scale, and what I mean by that is all of these defenders are within 6 yards. 6 yards of the line of scrimmage. So they don't have any help up top. That is it. They are packing the box, trying to run some games up front, and they are leaving their corners and their safety body type players on an absolute island. They are trying to get creative up front a little bit. They do run some games, the defensive line spot. They're going to run, it's kind of like a pick play, like a basketball pick play a little bit. They're going to run this tackle up, straight through the B and the C gap. They're going to wrap the end around. And what's interesting to note is this works, right? Kedon Slovis, if he holds onto this ball any bit longer than he does, this end's going to come around and knock his head off. That's what's important about man concepts. As a quarterback, if you know you're getting man coverage, you know the ball's got to get out of your hand quickly. You cannot hang on to it because When they're in man coverage, leaving their defenders on an island, that means there's other guys coming after you because they have extra bodies to do that as a result of not leaving anyone over the top. So, good on Keaton. Creative game right there by Wazoo on this side. What's also interesting to note is the Mike and Sam linebacker are in the A and the B gap respectively on the same side. Interesting look. Don't see that very often. Football junkies, just kind of a little side note there. Usually you would see one backer on each side or something like that. You wouldn't necessarily see both backers on the same side, but the reason that's happening is because they're trying to play a game with the offensive line on this side of the ball. Good job by USC's offensive line. Lot to communicate. Games are never easy for young offensive linemen. Good job there. Just to tie a bow on this, they rush here outside, and then this end, I believe it's number 10, rushes up and then drops back here. It's kind of just more of protecting against any drag routes. Trying to pick it off like Talanoa Hufunga did, where he rushes and then drops back, picks off a little drag route underneath. Obviously, that didn't happen here. We'll get into the Talanoa play. But that's the Wazoo defensive picture. But if you're Keaton Slovis, when you walk up to the line on this play, it is very easy, very simple. You know you're calling this route. If you get man coverage, you're going with it. Not only does he get man coverage, he gets favorable leverage right here. This nickel will is inside shade. Keaton Slovis knows this is the winner the second he stands up to the line. The last little point I wanted to mention is you can see my poor attempt at drawing hash marks right there. It's important to note on this play that the ball's on the right hash. Why is that important to note? Because if the ball was in the middle or the left hash, Keaton might have to be more disciplined or would have to be more disciplined with his eyes. What do I mean by that? On this play, he's on the right hash. There is no way this free safety is getting over the top and helping on number 8. So Keaton doesn't really have to be disciplined with his eyes. He doesn't have to look off, I shouldn't say disciplined, doesn't have to look off a safety as he does in this play. He just goes straight there with his eyes. There's no reason to look to the left, come back right, or anything like that. As opposed to if this ball was in the middle of the left hash, then maybe this free safety can come into play. Keaton might have to hang his eyes on this side a little bit before coming back to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Doesn't matter in this play. But important to mention the hash marks because it gave Keaton and Amon-Ra St. Brown tons of room to work with on that side. Could have been a different story if it was throwing that football into the boundary, into the short side of the field. We've had 2 red zone trips so far. 2 touchdowns by number 8. Let's check out the third right here.
In the interception, setting up this 1st and goal. Jet sweep, St. Brown looking for his 3rd of the night. He's got it.
All right, I won't spend a ton of time on this one as it's pretty easy to see what happened, right? Wazoo was packing the box. Graham Harrell, great call by him. He uses their leverage against him and gets the ball on the outside to a speedy number 8. Couple things I want to note. It shows you the importance of experience and football IQ. When you look at this formation for USC, it's not hard to piece together what play call is coming. What do I mean by that? Look at the formation. You have 2 receivers on here, and you have a tight end and a bigger receiver here. Oh, and the running back is to that side as well. Amon-Ra even a little bit deeper. You can start to piece together. An experienced linebacker should be able to sniff this out of, hey, wait a sec, jet sweep might be coming. Hindsight's 20/20, but this formation has all the ingredients for a jet sweep action. 2 blockers, a 3rd blocker, and a speedy guy out leveraging them. When you go through the blocking scheme, the play is won right away by Drake London. When this Sam linebacker dashes in to try to defend against the inside zone, and Drake London just pins him right there, that's how the ball's able to get on the outside. That's where the play's won right there. What I don't like about Wazoo, especially in this bunch formation, is this corner is so soft. And especially with 2 physical skill players right here, I would love him closer to the ball, closer to the line of scrimmage, just like his buddy is right here, to be able to be more physical at the point of attack and don't let this ball get to the outside. By him being soft, he's not a factor in the run defense. It allows Vi to get out there and pick him up as well. And the combination of the Sam getting pinned, the safety not being in the equation, I believe Jude Wolf works up to him, and then the corner not being in the equation, it's a great call by USC. They schemed it up to have a mismatch at every single position right here, and using Wazoo's leverage once again against them allows USC to convert on this play and get an easy jet sweep passing touchdown technically for the 3rd touchdown of the night for Amon-Ra St. Brown. We've seen 3 touchdowns. Last but not least, the 4th one.
He dealt with an injury last season as well. Back shoulder throw, St. Brown, why not make it 4?
All right, another great hookup by Kedon Slovis to Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is actually a called run play that has an alert to throw this to Amon-Ra St. Brown. This run play is a little different than most USC run plays. They're going to have Jude Wolfe in this like true H-back type role. They're going to zone block everyone going to their right, and then they're going to have Jude come across and kick out the end. When you have this action as a run play, pay attention to it on both Saturdays and Sundays. That oftentimes leads runs to roll back because you get so much push going this way. You're kicking out the end. You can press the action this way and then roll off the center's butt oftentimes. You guys are also probably wondering why it says 7 guys right in the middle before I cross it off with the blue line. It's too hard to tell from the TV copy what the specific front is, so I'm just saying, hey, there's 7 guys right at the line of scrimmage. They basically have a guy in each gap. And so Tim Drevno, this offensive line, saying, screw it, we're just going to wash everyone down, kick the end man out, and Marquis Stepp go to work. Obviously, it doesn't get to that point. Kedon Slovis says, all right, I see number 8, once again, one-on-one on the outside. I'm saying screw it to the run play. I'm going to throw it up to him. Amon-Ra St. Brown makes a great play. The one thing I want to know that's very interesting, right, is the first drive, we talked about it, the outside leverage from this corner, right? He was on the outside of number 8. This time he's on the inside. He's lined up right on the right shoulder of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now he's trying to take away the slant. He already got beat on that earlier on in this quarter. And so the counter to that is let's go with the fade ball. He's given us that leverage. Let's throw it up to the back pylon. And they're able to win that one-on-one matchup. It's just cool to see the cat and mouse game throughout the game that goes unnoticed a little bit, right? The slant was the winner of the first drive. Wazoo responds. Graham Harrell responds with the fade throw. 4 touchdowns in the first half. Have a day. All right, we've talked about the offensive side of the ball and looked at 4 touchdowns. Now let's check out the defensive side of the ball. Look at number 15, Talanoa Hufunga's interception and hurdle. Let's check it out.
More on 2nd and 8. Ball is tipped and intercepted. It's Hufunga who hurdles the man. Has a block. McIntosh, the only one back for Washington State, forces him out at the 5. My goodness.
Hufunga here gets it to himself. Harris was going to go a long way if he didn't get that right hand up.
All right, let's start out with the Wazoo point of view. Wazoo's on offense, USC's on defense. Wazoo lines up in a 3-by-1 formation. They're going to work a double slant concept in the slot. A little fade on the outside. Going to swing the back to that side. I can't see exactly what the Z receiver's doing on the TV copy. But it's 2nd and 8. Just a nice little pass concept for Wazoo. Nothing complex. Also, nothing overly complex right away for USC. They're in a very clear man picture. It's eyes on, eyes on. You know the outside have man coverage. You know just based off the entire picture that both Max Williams and Greg Johnson are probably also in man coverage. Thing to note is their outside leverage. Just like we talked about in USC's offensive point of view, it's the same thing on Wazoo's offensive point of view. When it's outside leverage, you can beat teams with in-breaking routes. Exactly what they have dialed up here. At first glance, this is the perfect call for Wazoo. This should be a big chunk play for the Cougars. Obviously, that doesn't happen, and we'll dive into exactly why. On the USC defensive side of things, the picture is quite clear. What's very unique is the personnel groupings. 2 guys in particular. Drake Jackson is basically playing middle linebacker. That can screw with an offensive line because I guarantee walking into this game plan-wise, they are accounting as number 9 as a defensive lineman. And so when he's walked up, stand up in the middle linebacker position area, that can screw with offensive line's communication a little bit. That's one thing to note. You also have a linebacker walked up right there in the B gap or right above the guard, Kenai Malga. And then you also have a safety who played linebacker in this game, and Talanoa Hufunga right there in the B gap as well. The USC defense prides themselves on their blitz packages, and they're going to dial one up right here. They're going to have Marlon go to this side. They're going to have Drake go to this side. They're going to rush. Hunter Echols is rushing right here. I actually lied. This running back is not on a route. The running back comes over in protection, gets Hunter Echols. This offensive line, everyone is stepping to their left. And what does that mean? That means Wazoo's right tackle steps down on Talanoa Hufunga. And why that's important, I don't know exactly how Todd Orlando teaches this, but the right tackle steps down on Talanoa Hufunga. A safety, he's really outmanned in terms of, he has the speed and everything, but size-wise, the second he gets stoned, he's outmanned a little bit. But the savvy veteran football player that Talanoa Hufunga is, He says, all right, I'm not just going to stand there and get covered or stand there and get blocked. He's going to drift back and ultimately picks off this football. Jumping back to Jayden de Laura's mindset right here, this is a dream scenario like we talked about. He's got double slants, and at first glance, there is no one right here in this entire area for USC to defend. The second that Drake Jackson comes in the middle, as a quarterback, you should feel that middle opening up, and this ball should be on him right now. This is a one-step drop. Get the ball on him right now. If he catches this ball right here, he's one juke move away from, honestly, a house call. That's not out of the question here if this ball's thrown on time. And that's the other thing I want to know with a young quarterback, and this is the last point on this play. Jayden de Laura takes a three-step drop. And as a result of taking a three-step drop, he's late on this slant, and we saw it ultimately get picked off. He's late on this slant that's covered, and that's why he doesn't have an option, or he feels like he doesn't have an option. But by waiting so long and allowing this slant to be thrown right over here, he allows Talanoa Hufunga to get involved. This should be a one-step drop, get the ball out to the slot, and I'm sorry my drawing's getting a little messy. It shouldn't be a three-step drop. Allow the receiver to come this way. Credit Talanoa Hufunga, but this play does not happen against a more experienced quarterback. If this is Gardner Minshew a few years ago, this ball is out on time. Talanoa Hufunga is not even in the equation. Max Williams getting beat off leverage alone. Greg Johnson would have got beat off leverage alone as well if that happened. And so, great play by the USC defense, but you have to be wary against better quarterback play. This should have been a 20-yard completion by Wazoo. There's Hufunga's interception. Now let's look at Elijah Griffin's interception.
A little bit pressure. De Laura pumps, throws, intercepted. Elijah Griffin. And USC's defense is really throwing a party now. And
all right, this will be fun because Jayden de Laura throws a pick here, but this RPO, run pass option, was one of my favorite RPOs to throw. As a quarterback, I was all about having answers. Offensive coordinator, give me answers. That's what I want, and this RPO has a lot of answers. What do I mean by that? It's a called run play. So the first answer is, all right, QB, all right, Jayden de Laura, if you're confused at all, young quarterback, true freshman on the road in the Coliseum, if you're confused at all, you can always just hand this ball off on an outside zone run play. It is a called run play. The pass option part happens in an inside-out progression. Ultimately, like we just saw, Elijah Griffin drives on this route, makes a great interception, great play by him. But the key to this play, from a quarterback's brain right here, is number 26, Kanai Mauga. Right when he walks up to the line, Jayden de Laura is only worried about number 26. Talking extremes there a little bit. Obviously, he's worried about the entire defense, but he is locked in on number 26. Whatever Kanai Mauga does or doesn't do ultimately dictates the read of this play. What do I mean by that? When Jayden de Laura walks up to the line, Greg Johnson's leverage, him being outside leverage of the F receiver, the slot receiver, he's beat right away. He's not going to be able to defend this, or he might be able to, but it's going to be awfully hard. An inside breaking slant is going to beat Greg Johnson 9 out of 10 times. So right away, if I'm Jayden de Laura, I'm saying, if Kanai Mauga steps inside at all, I'm going to bang this slant route. I'm going to ride the run fake. I'm going to suck 26 in. I'm going to rip a slant right behind him because the favorable leverage there. I should also note the hash marks again. This play is, I believe, on the right hash or right middle, which means that you just have more grass to your left. This window's bigger as a result. If this ball was to the boundary and this was the short side of the field, this same read applies, but it's going to happen quicker. That window is a lot tighter because everything's just more condensed. Kanai Mauga plays this well. As a will, you know this. They rep this all the time. USC does it all the time. A good will linebacker, he knows the deal. You can make eye contact with a quarterback and be like, all right, you're reading me. I know the deal. I know I'm getting RPO'd a little bit. And Kanai shuffles his feet a little bit. He turns his hips, which makes it a little tough, but he shuffles his feet and he gets Jayden de Laura guessing. That's the number one thing. You have to get in RPOs, force the quarterback to think. The easy, clean pictures, that's where a quarterback can torch you. Kanai Mauga does a good job of hanging in there. What I will say is the inexperience from de Laura definitely stood out in this throw. I don't mind the decision. The TV copy was talking about, Petros was saying, oh, poor decision by de Laura. I disagree. I don't mind the decision. I just think it's late. And then combines it with a poor throw, and that's why the pick happened. but I don't mind the initial decision to pull it. So he pulls this. Kanai Malga gets sucked in just a little bit. The window's there right now. This ball should be thrown right out of his break. He should ride the fake and pop it right on him before he gets out of his break. This receiver is open. He just does not pull the trigger. Hence the inexperience. Hence a younger quarterback. Hence a quarterback on the road. Minimal practice time potentially for Wazoo. All those factors come into play. But this RPO is open. They are going back to their meeting room saying this ball should be thrown. But even if that's the case, he doesn't like the run play. He didn't hand it off. He doesn't pull the trigger there. That's fine. It's real life. Bullets are flying. On the outside, his eyes should go right out to the left, and he should bang this throw right on the chest of this ex-receiver. He waits here until this receiver gets even inside even more, allowing Elijah Griffin to run with him, and ultimately get over the top and make an interception right here. So he's late on both accounts there, and even with all that, even if he was late with this throw, a more accurate throw would have saved him. If he put this on the back shoulder of the ex-receiver, he let him. He put it on the front shoulder. If he put it on the back shoulder this way, his right shoulder, to protect the receiver, it would have been a bang-bang play. It would have been a completion for 3 yards, but you would have moved on, and you wouldn't have had a catastrophic turnover at that point in the game. So credit Elijah Griffin breaking on this route, but once again, the inexperience from DeLaura definitely shows. If you're a Wazoo fan, you're going back to the meeting room saying, man, we missed an opportunity right there, and the storm was already coming on the USC front, but this play only added to it. Missed opportunity right there by the Cougs, and credit the swarming D by USC for getting it done. But there you have it. We talked a little offense, talked a little defense, some touchdowns, some turnovers. USC, so far so good, undefeated, headed into the final week of play. Gonna have to continue the momentum from what we saw on the whiteboard, but I appreciate you guys checking this out. I'm back here every week with the breakdown, looking at every USC game, so be sure to check back here every single week. And once again, thanks for checking it out.